Mack decided to bang loudly and see what happened. But just as he raised his fist to do so, the door flew open and he was looking directly into the face of a large, beaming African-American woman. Instinctively, he jumped back, but he was too slow. With speed that belied her size, she crossed the distance between them and engulfed him in her arms, lifting him clear of his feet and spinning him around like a child. And all the while, she was shouting his name, Mackenzie Allen Phillips, with the ardour of someone seeing a long-lost and deeply loved relative. She finally put him back on earth and, with her hands on his shoulders, pushed him back as if to get a good look at him. "Mack, look at you," she fairly exploded. "Here you are, and so grown up. I've really been looking forward to seeing you face to face." The large black woman gathered his coat and he handed her the gun, which she took from him with 2 fingers as if it was contaminated. Just as she turned to enter the cabin, a small, distinctively Asian woman emerged from behind her. "Here, let me take those," her voice sang. Obviously, she'd not meant the coat or the gun, but something else, and she was in front of him in a blink of an eye. He stiffened as he felt something sweep gently across his cheek. Without moving, he looked down and could see that she was busy with a fragile crystal bottle and a small brush, like those he'd seen Nan and Kate use for makeup, gently removing something from his face. Before he could ask, she smiled and whispered, "Mackenzie, we all have things we value enough to collect, don't we?" His little tin box flashed through his mind. "I collect tears." As she stepped back, Mack found himself involuntarily squinting in her direction, as if doing so would allow his eyes to see her better. But strangely, he still had a difficult time focusing on her. She seemed almost to shimmer in the light, and her hair blew in all directions, even though there was hardly a breeze. It was almost easier to see her out of the corner of his eye than it was to look at her directly. He then glanced past her and noticed that a 3rd person had emerged from the cabin, this one a man. He appeared Middle Eastern and was dressed like a labourer, complete with tool belt and gloves. He stood easily leaning against the door jamb with arms crossed in front of him, wearing jeans covered in wood dust and a plaid shirt with sleeves rolled just above the elbows, revealing well-muscled forearms. His features were pleasant enough, but he was not particularly handsome, not a man who would stick out in a crowd. But his eyes and smile lit up his face, and Mack found it difficult to look away. Mack stepped back again, feeling a bit overwhelmed. "Are there more of you?" he asked a little hoarsely. The 3 looked at one another and laughed. Mack couldn't help but smile. "No, Mackenzie," chuckled the black woman. "We is all that you get, and believe me, we're more than enough."